G'day again, good people. Well, it was time to get on the road again. We have spent 6 months in the south of WA, a couple of months in Albany and what have you, and around Perth and Mandurah and Boddington and Wandering, etc. So it was starting to get cold down there, so we thought we'd better bugger off and head north, and that's what we've done. We stayed first night out at Milligan Island, which is up near Green Head. Nice little spot. We'd been there before, but we'd never stayed. Just had a look. It's a deep-water camp, so it's reasonably cheap. I think $20 a night. And some nice beaches, and very, very close to Green Head, which is a nice little town. Not much to it, but it's a holiday town and a fishing town. And we had a nice time there. We stayed there for a few days before heading further north. So after Milligan Island, we stayed in Dongara. Now, I've stayed there for work before, and we've been there, driven into the town a bit, but we've never actually stayed there. So this is another place we wanted to stay and spend some time. It's a beautiful little town on the ocean, as you can see, and I don't know, it's probably 5,000 or 6,000 people. It's got all the facilities. It's a fishing place. You can go fishing and surfing and snorkeling and all that sort of thing. These old trees, they're Moreton Bay fig trees, some of them are over 100 years old, so that's really interesting down the street to see them of that age. Some of the ones in Perth, along the waterfront there in Perth, are also of that sort of vintage. It was one of the early settled towns along the west coast, and so there's some very old buildings further inland, old stone buildings, convict built. Then we went to Kalbarri, and the last time we wanted to go was to have a look at the new Skywalk, and they had a cyclone there and the town was closed. So on our last lap, we went inland, and we were really happy that we could come here, spend a few days in Kalbarri. It is really one of my favourite spots. Beautiful beaches, rugged hinterland. The Murchison River zigzags through this section, twists and turns like a snake, and it's just magnificent. The Skywalk now has been there a couple of years, 2-3 years, I guess, and it's really attracting people. And you can walk right out over the what do you call that? The gorge, and get views like this from standing out from the cliff. This is Nature's Window, which is a really special place as well. And we've been to Kalbarri lots of times and stayed. Belinda had an uncle that lived nearby, and so she used to go there as a child as well. And I went there for the first time when I was about 4. So I hate to tell you this, but that was about 1957, when it was just a dirt track in and not much happening around town, but good fishing and swimming and what have you. So we've been there a lot of times, and it's one of our favourite spots. We just love it there. We had a beautiful site in the caravan park, and right near the ocean, near the shops. You could walk to the shops and get coffee and what have you. So we really enjoy Kalbarri, and we'll certainly go back there every time we come up this way. And on this trip we stayed at Monkey Mire at the resort there, and the caravan park. We've been to Denham any number of times, which is on the other side of the peninsula at Shark Bay, but never stayed at Monkey Mire, although we have been here frequently. So it was really good. But we went to this Ocean Park Aquarium. I don't think it was open the last time we were here. And it's really interesting. I'm not a big fan of animal entertainment, as I've told you, but this was really interesting and educational. It was a facility that was open to breed pink snapper when the stocks were being depleted many years ago, and they used to breed pink snapper and put them out into the bay. But if you had kids with you, it's relaxed enough that they could ask a lot of questions, and it is really quite interesting. They've got stonefish and they've got sharks. They've got a big pond out the back with quite a lot of sharks in it. Big sharks, a 3-foot tiger shark, that sort of thing. So this was just out of Denham on the road in. Really worth going and having a look at. But it wasn't hugely expensive. big lagoon. Francois National Park. Series of lagoons off into the distance, and the ocean just over there. We decided we'd stay at Ballara Station rather than Exmouth or Coral Bay, so it's in between the two. It's about 60 k's north of Coral Bay and about 90 k's south of Exmouth on a station. It's a working cattle station, and they've got a fairly large caravan park, but it doesn't feel crowded even though it was a lot of people there. Quirky statues and a bottle tree, outside showers with a bucket, which worked pretty well, and a restaurant or there's a cafe there, and a restaurant where you can book for meals and you get a fixed menu. Tad expensive, I guess, for what it is, but it's quirky, and the food was really good. I must say, we had rack of lamb or roast lamb or something, and the food was really good. They've got a good chef, and really, really worth staying there for a few days just to get a feel. There's some nice walks around and sand dunes to climb and what have you. And as I say, half an hour out of Coral Bay, we went swimming and snorkeling. So, really good spot to stay, Ballara Station. And so we come to Karratha, which is going to be home for the next few weeks, nearly a month. And we're looking after a place here, and it is lovely. The weather's warm, much warmer than in Perth. So we will see you in Karratha